They said Jacob Fatu was untouchable. They said he was the most dangerous man in professional wrestling. They said the Samoan werewolf was built different, that his bones were made of titanium, his spirit forged in fire, and his legacy carved in blood. They were wrong, because last night on SmackDown, the world watched in absolute horror as Brock Lesnar, the Beast incarnate, the Conqueror, the man who breaks everything he touches, took Jacob Fatu's left leg and turned it into a twisted, mangled monument of pure destruction. And I'm not talking about a worked injury. I'm not talking about selling. I'm not talking about some scripted takedown that gets forgotten by next week. I'm talking about a legitimate massacre, the kind of violence that makes grown men turn away from their screens. The kind of brutality that has the entire wrestling world asking one terrifying question: how far is too far? Because what Brock Lesnar did to Jacob Fatu wasn't just an attack. It was a statement. It was a message written in bone fragments and screaming agony. It was Brock Lesnar reminding every single person in that arena, everyone watching at home, and every wrestler in that locker room of one undeniable truth: he is still the most dangerous human being on this planet. Let me take you back. Let me paint you a picture of how we got here. Because this wasn't just random violence. This wasn't just Brock waking up angry and choosing chaos. No, this was personal. This was calculated. This was revenge served cold, brutal, and absolutely merciless. 3 weeks ago, Jacob Fatu made the biggest mistake of his career. The Bloodline, Roman Reigns' new iteration of the Bloodline, had been running roughshod over SmackDown. They were unstoppable, untouchable, a force of nature that demolished everyone in their path. And Jacob Fatu? He was the enforcer, the muscle, the monster who did the dirty work while Roman stood back and orchestrated the chaos like a mob boss watching his soldiers burn the city down. But then Brock Lesnar showed up. And when Brock shows up, everything changes. He came back with one purpose: to challenge Roman Reigns one more time, to settle the score, to prove that even with all his family, all his backup, all his manipulations, Roman couldn't stand toe-to-toe with the Beast incarnate. But the Bloodline had other plans. The ambush. God, the ambush. It happened after Brock had just demolished 2 local competitors in under 90 seconds. He was standing in the middle of the ring, music blaring, crowd chanting Suplex City, and then the lights went out. And when they came back on, Jacob Fatu was standing on the apron. Solo Sikoa was blocking the ramp. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa had surrounded the ring like wolves circling wounded prey. And Roman Reigns walked out with that smug, arrogant smile on his face. "You want me, Brock?" Roman said, microphone in hand, every word dripping with venom. "You want the tribal chief? Then you're gonna have to go through my family first." And that's when it happened. Jacob Fatu launched himself from the apron with a diving moonsault that should be illegal in 17 states. The impact sent Brock crashing into the corner, and then like sharks smelling blood in the water, the Bloodline descended. They beat him down for 7 minutes straight, super kicks, splashes, chair shots that echoed through the arena like gunfire. And Jacob Fatu? He was the worst of them all. He hit Brock with a running hip attack so devastating, so vicious, that it sent the Beast through the barricade and into the timekeeper's area. The medical staff tried to intervene. Paul Heyman was screaming, begging them to stop. The referees got thrown around like children. Security couldn't do a damn thing. And Jacob Fatu stood over Brock's broken body and laughed. He laughed like a man who just conquered a god. He laughed like someone who genuinely believed he had just ended Brock Lesnar's career. He beat his chest, threw up the Bloodline hand sign, and screamed into the camera, "This is our show now. The Beast is dead." Question time ***. Who do you think made the bigger mistake, Jacob Fatu for attacking Brock, or Roman for ordering the hit? Drop your answer in the comments right now, ***. But here's the thing about Brock Lesnar, here's the thing they always forget until it's too late. You don't hurt Brock Lesnar without consequences. You don't embarrass him, humiliate him, and laugh in his face without paying a price that'll haunt you for the rest of your career. Because Brock doesn't just get even. He doesn't just get revenge. Brock Lesnar gets biblical. The following week, Brock didn't show up. No appearance. No interview. No satellite feed from Paul Heyman. Nothing. The Bloodline celebrated. They threw a party in the ring. Roman sat on a throne, an actual throne, and declared himself the undisputed, unchallenged tribal chief. Jacob Fatu was given a special honor. Roman presented him with a custom title belt that read Beast Slayer. The arrogance was suffocating. The hubris was palpable. And Brock Lesnar was watching. Week 2, still no Brock. Adam Pearce, the SmackDown general manager, announced that Brock had been medically suspended due to injuries sustained in the attack. The doctor said he had bruised ribs, a possible concussion, and needed time to recover. The Bloodline mocked him relentlessly. Jacob Fatu cut a promo where he called Brock soft. He said the Beast had gone back to his farm to lick his wounds like a coward. He said that Brock Lesnar's era was over, and the Samoan werewolf era had just begun. Bold words from a man who didn't know he was signing his own death warrant, because last night, on SmackDown, 3 weeks after that brutal ambush, Brock Lesnar came back. And he came back with one target in mind. Jacob Fatu dash the scene was set perfectly. Jacob Fatu was scheduled for a match against LA Knight. A showcase match. An opportunity for the Samoan werewolf to prove why he was the most feared member of the bloodline. The crowd was hot, the energy was electric, and Jacob was in full control. He hit LA Knight with a super kick. Then another. Then a pop-up Samoan drop that nearly broke the ring. Knight was down. Fatu was climbing to the top rope for his devastating moonsault finisher. And then Brock's music hit, not the usual entrance music. No pyro. No fanfare. Just that ominous, bass-heavy theme that sounds like a death march. The arena exploded. Jacob Fatu froze on the top rope. His eyes went wide. You could see the color drain from his face even through the grainy arena lighting. Because he knew. In that moment, he knew exactly what was coming. Brock walked down that ramp slowly. Methodically. Every step deliberate. Every movement calculated. He was wearing his fight gear, his hands taped, his eyes locked on Fatu like a predator stalking prey. No smile. No emotion. Just cold, focused rage. Question number 2 Be honest, did Jacob Fatu bring this on himself? Comment yes or no below. Jacob Fatu tried to run, I'm not even joking. He jumped off the top rope and sprinted for the opposite side of the ring, trying to escape through the crowd. But Brock was ready. He cut him off at the barricade, grabbed him by the throat with both hands, and launched him back into the ring like a ragdoll. LA Knight, smart man that he is, rolled out of the ring and backed up the ramp. This wasn't his fight. This was something else entirely. This was a hunt. Brock stalked Jacob around the ring. Every time Fatu tried to strike, Brock absorbed it. Super kicks bounced off him like pebbles. Forearm shots did nothing. It was like watching a man try to fight a grizzly bear with his bare hands. And then Brock caught him. One explosive move. One German suplex that folded Jacob Fatu in half and spiked him on the back of his head. The impact was sickening. The crowd gasped. Even the commentators went silent. But Brock wasn't done. Another German suplex. Then another. Then another. 5 German suplexes in a row, each one more violent than the last, each one driving Jacob's body into the canvas with bone-rattling force. Fatu was barely conscious. His eyes were glazed. His body wasn't responding. Any normal human being would have stopped there. But Brock Lesnar isn't normal and this is where it gets brutal. Brock dragged Jacob to the corner. He propped him up against the bottom turnbuckle, positioning Fatu's left leg his base, his power source, the leg he uses for every explosive move in his arsenal, and placed it between the ring post and the steel steps. The crowd knew what was coming. Oh God, they knew. Paul Heyman, who had appeared at ringside, was screaming at Brock to stop. Brock, no. You'll end his career. Brock, please. But Brock didn't hear him. Or maybe he did, and he just didn't care. He looked into the camera. Looked directly into the lens with those dead, emotionless eyes. And he mouthed 2 words, "This is for me." And then he kicked the steel steps. The sound, Jesus Christ, the sound. It wasn't just the crunch of metal against bone. It wasn't just Jacob Fatu's scream, and trust me, that scream will haunt my nightmares for months. It was the collective gasp of 20,000 people realizing they had just witnessed something that crossed a line. Something that went beyond wrestling. Something that felt real. Jacob's leg was trapped, bent at an unnatural angle. The medical staff rushed down immediately, but Brock wasn't finished. He grabbed the steel steps again and slammed them into Fatu's leg a second time. Twice, security finally swarmed the ring. 8 guys, 10 guys, it didn't matter. They pulled Brock away, and he let them. Because the damage was done. The message was sent. Jacob Fatu was stretchered out of the arena, his leg immobilized, tears streaming down his face, screaming in agony as the crowd watched in stunned silence. The medical update came in this morning: fractured tibia, severe ligament damage, possible nerve damage, 6 to 9 months recovery time. Minimum. Jacob Fatu's run in WWE, his momentum, his push, all of it halted in an instant. Not because of bad booking, not because of politics, but because he made the mistake of attacking Brock Lesnar and thinking there wouldn't be consequences. The Bloodline released a statement saying they're evaluating their options and considering legal action. Roman Reigns cut a heated promo calling Brock a psychopath and demanding he be arrested for assault. But here's the reality: Brock Lesnar didn't break the rules. He didn't use weapons during an official match. He didn't interfere in someone else's business. Jacob Fatu's music was playing, the match was technically still active, and Brock simply escalated. Is it ethical? No. Is it legal in the world of WWE? Apparently, yes. Is it the most savage act of revenge we've seen in years? Absolutely. Question 3 Who should face Brock next? Should it be Roman? Solo? Or someone completely unexpected? Let me know, but let's talk about the bigger picture here, because this isn't just about Jacob Fatu's shattered leg. This isn't just about Brock Lesnar proving he's still the most dominant force in WWE. This is about what happens next. Roman Reigns has built his entire empire on family, on the bloodline standing together, on the idea that united, they're unstoppable. But now, one of his most powerful soldiers is gone, potentially for the rest of the year. And Brock just proved that he can pick them off one by one. The bloodline is vulnerable, and Brock knows it. Solo Sikoa is tough, but he's not Jacob Fatu. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are skilled, but they're not built to go one-on-one with a beast like Lesnar. That leaves Roman, and Roman has spent the last 3 years avoiding singles competition with Brock for this exact reason. He knows he can't beat him without help, and now, that help just got cut in half. The psychological warfare Brock is waging is genius. He's not just physically destroying the bloodline. He's mentally breaking them down, making them second-guess every decision, making them wonder who's next on his list. There's been talk backstage, and these are just rumors, but they're coming from reliable sources that WWE officials are furious about what happened. Not because they think Brock went too far storyline-wise, but because this level of intensity is making insurance companies nervous. It's making sponsors nervous. It's making people question whether WWE can control their biggest star. And the answer is simple: they can't. Brock Lesnar has never been controllable. From his first run in WWE, to his time in UFC, to his return, to now, Brock does what Brock wants. He's not a character playing a role. He's a legitimate fighter, a legitimate badass, and when he decides to hurt someone, the line between performance and reality gets very, very blurry. That's what makes him so dangerous. That's what makes him so compelling. That's what makes him Brock Lesnar. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you watched a wrestling segment and genuinely feared for someone's safety? When was the last time you saw something that made you question whether it was supposed to happen? When was the last time wrestling felt dangerous again? Because for too long, wrestling has been predictable, sanitized, safe. Not anymore. Brock just reminded us that when wrestling is done right, when the stakes feel real.